Imagine there are two gods in this story. One of them is the God you've read about in the Bible, the one who gets angry, punishes people, and demands strict obedience. But there's another God, a hidden one, who's nothing like that. This God is pure light, endless love, and perfect peace. How could the same Bible describe a God who demands harsh punishments, yet also teaches love and forgiveness? Look closer, and you'll see it doesn't add up. Stories like the flood, where the whole world is wiped out, or commands to harm others, don't feel like they come from a loving God, do they? This forbidden Neogenian knowledge reveals the secret God versus the evil God of the Bible. There's a group of people who believe that the God of the Bible, often called Yahweh, is not the ultimate God. They said he's something else entirely, a flawed, jealous being who only wants control. But behind all this confusion is the true God, the one hidden from plain sight. This God isn't angry or punishing. Instead, this God is pure light and love, a force so peaceful it's beyond anything we can imagine. This God lives inside you. The Gnostics believed that we each carry a tiny spark of this hidden God inside us. They said Jesus didn't come to make us obey the angry God. He came to help us find this light buried deep within. Most people live their whole lives without knowing this. The truth remains hidden right in front of them, keeping them stuck, controlled, and afraid of the wrong things. If you don't wake up to this knowledge, you might miss out on discovering the greatest secret of all, who you truly are and what you're capable of. But here's the good news. Now that you've heard this story, you're already one step closer to unlocking the truth. And trust me, the rest of this journey will blow your mind. Are you ready to see the world in a whole new way? Join me as we begin our journey. The next part of this story will uncover the battle between the false God and the hidden God and what it means for your life. Don't miss it. It might change everything. The God often described in the Bible isn't the ultimate God at all. The Gnostics held a radical belief in dualism. They taught that the wrathful, jealous God of the Bible, known as Yahweh or the Demiurge, isn't the supreme creator. Instead, they believed there exists a higher hidden God, one who embodies absolute light, love, and peace. This secret God stands in stark contrast to the Old Testament's depiction of a deity who demands obedience and metes out harsh punishments. The Gnostics flourished during the early years of Christianity, from the 2nd to 4th centuries CE. Their writings, such as the Secret Book of John and the Gospel of Thomas, reveal an alternative understanding of divinity that mainstream Christianity sought to suppress. The central idea? The God of the material world, the Demiurge, is flawed and corrupt, obsessed with power and control. This God created the physical universe as a trap, keeping souls bound to a cycle of fear and ignorance. In contrast, the hidden God exists beyond the physical world, a pure and infinite source of light. This divine force isn't about control, but liberation. To understand the Gnostic perspective, look closely at the Bible. Deuteronomy 28 describes severe punishments for disobedience, such as famine and suffering, to the extent that parents would resort to cannibalizing their children. In verse 31, Moses commands the slaughter of men, women, and children, sparing only young girls. Deuteronomy 39-43 describes Yahweh as a divine warrior whose sword devours flesh and whose arrows drink blood. These passages depict a God whose actions appear incompatible with the loving message that Jesus preached in the New Testament. The true God isn't concerned with violence or punishment. Texts such as the Secret Book of John describe this higher God as infinite and formless, existing beyond the physical universe. This God doesn't impose laws or demand sacrifices. Instead, the hidden God seeks to awaken humanity, helping us rediscover the divine spark within each of us, a tiny piece of the infinite light. They also had a different perspective on Jesus than what traditional Christianity portrays. Rather than being the Son of Yahweh, they believed Jesus was a messenger of the hidden God. His teachings, like those found in the Gospel of Thomas, urged people to seek the divine within themselves. In one passage, Jesus says, "When you know yourselves, Then you will be known, and you will realize that you are children of the living Father. This wasn't about obeying an external God, but about uncovering a deep internal truth, the connection between humanity and the secret God of light. The Gnostics saw the material world as a creation of the demiurge, a flawed and jealous being who used it to entrap souls. To keep humans ignorant of their true nature, the demiurge and his minions, called archons, filled the world with distractions, suffering, and fear. Even today, systems like organized religion, scientific materialism, and capitalism can act as modern archons, keeping people focused on external goals and away from inner awakening. It's not about rejecting the world or the Bible, but about seeing the deeper truths hidden within and seeking the light that's already inside you. A minuscule glimmer of light concealed in the depths of your heart silently illuminates, awaiting discovery. This isn't just a poetic idea. Fear, distraction, and control have buried your true self, which you can unlock with this key. What if I told you that finding this spark could change everything, not just about how you see yourself, but how you understand the entire universe? Spiritual awakening is the process of rediscovering who you really are. Gnostic teachings describe it as realizing that you're more than a physical body and more than the roles society assigns to you. At your core, you are a fragment of divine light, a piece of something infinite and eternal. The Gnostics believed that every person carries a piece of the divine within them, a spark of light given by the hidden God. This spark is what connects us to the true source of love and wisdom. But here's the challenge. Layers of fear, ignorance, and distraction often bury this light. In their writings, the Gnostics referred to this divine spark as the living Father within each of us. This means that enlightenment isn't about finding something outside of yourself. It's about uncovering what's already there. The demiurge, the flawed God who created the material world, doesn't want you to awaken. He uses fear, control, and distraction to keep you focused on external things, money, status, possessions, and even fear of divine punishment. The religion teaches you to see God as something outside yourself, making you dependent on rules and rituals rather than self-discovery. Materialism tells you that the physical world is all there is, making the idea of a spiritual spark seem impossible. Consumerism keeps you so busy chasing material goals that you have no time to reflect on deeper truths. Each of these systems works like a cage, keeping your divine spark hidden and your soul asleep. Awakening isn't something that happens overnight. It's a process, a journey of peeling back layers of illusion to find the light that's been there all along. You start to feel that the narratives you've heard about life, God, and purpose don't make sense. This questioning opens the door to new possibilities. Once the questions take root, you start looking for answers. This might lead you to ancient texts, spiritual practices, or deep conversations about life's meaning. As you explore, you begin to sense the divine spark within you. You realize you're not separate from the hidden God. You're part of it. With this awareness comes change. Your priorities shift, fear fades, and you start to live with purpose and authenticity. For the Gnostics, Jesus wasn't just a teacher, he was a guide, sent to help humanity awaken. His teachings weren't about obeying laws or following rituals. They were about finding the divine within yourself. Jesus' statement in the Gospel of Thomas, "The kingdom of God is inside you and all around you," is powerful. By knowing yourselves, you will become known and realize you are children of the living Father. This wasn't just a metaphor, it was a call to action, a reminder that awakening is about self-discovery, not blind faith. What does it feel like to awaken? It's not just about understanding something new. It's about experiencing a profound shift in how you see the world and yourself. We believe that religion should lead us closer to God. But according to Gnostic teachings, much of mainstream religion does the opposite. Rather than assisting individuals in uncovering their inner divine essence, mainstream religion frequently portrays God as a distant entity, deserving of fear and obedience. Take the Old Testament. It describes a God who demands worship, threatens punishment, and sets rigid rules. Many religious institutions still promote this image of God, one that encourages submission rather than self-discovery. By portraying God as a wrathful judge, religion can make people afraid to question, explore, or think for themselves. Instead of understanding that the divine resides within, followers learn to seek salvation outside of themselves through rituals, leaders, and rules. The Gnostics believed this narrative served the demiurge, not the true God. Instead of awakening individuals to their inner light, it keeps them bound to an external system of control. While religion places the divine out of reach, materialism tells a different lie, that the physical world is all there is. This worldview, which has grown stronger in modern times, reduces everything, life, love, even consciousness, to random chemical reactions. If life is nothing more than chance, why bother searching for a deeper purpose? We push people to prioritize material things, jobs, possessions, and status over spiritual growth. The Gnostics viewed materialism as another tool of the demiurge, a way to keep humanity fixated on the surface of reality. By denying the existence of a higher dimension or divine essence, materialism ensures we remain disconnected from our spiritual roots. If materialism says the physical world is all that matters, consumerism takes it one step further. It says, you're not enough unless you have more. Look around. Everywhere you turn, there's an ad telling you that you need something. Better clothes, a newer phone, a bigger house. It's a never-ending race, and no matter how much you acquire, it's never enough. Constantly chasing material goals leaves little time for reflection or spiritual exploration. The demands of work and consumption drain energy that could be used to seek deeper truths. Material possessions can bring temporary satisfaction, but they don't address the deeper longing for connection and purpose. In Gnostic terms, consumerism is another way the demiurge distracts us from our divine potential. It keeps us busy and focused on the external, so we never look inward to find the hidden God. These systems don't operate in isolation. They work together, reinforcing each other to create a powerful web of control. Religion tells you that you're inherently flawed and need saving. Materialism convinces you that spiritual truths are illusions. Consumerism keeps you so preoccupied with acquiring things that you never question the bigger picture. This combination ensures that most people remain stuck in a cycle of fear, distraction, and ignorance. The first step to escaping this trap is to recognize it. Once you see how these systems operate, you can begin to question their influence on your life. Ask yourself if the teachings you follow encourage self-discovery or demand blind obedience. Explore the idea that there's more to life than what we can see, touch, and measure. Step back from the endless cycle of consumerism. Focus on experiences and connections rather than possessions. The Gnostics believed that awakening wasn't just a personal journey, it was a revolutionary act. By breaking free from these systems, you're not just liberating yourself, you're challenging the very structures that keep humanity asleep. Every person carries within them a spark of something infinite, a piece of the hidden God that connects us to the ultimate source of love and wisdom. Yet most of us live without ever realizing it, caught in a web of fear, confusion, and control. Awakening isn't just a possibility, it's your birthright. The Gnostics believed that you don't have to follow someone else's rules or seek salvation in an external force. Instead, you already hold the key to your liberation. All you have to do is look within. The systems we've discussed, religion, materialism, and consumerism, are powerful, but they are not invincible. Their strength lies in their ability to keep you unaware. Once you see them for what they are, their power begins to crumble. Are you living a life that feels true to your deepest self, or are you playing a role someone else wrote for you? Do your beliefs bring you peace and understanding, or do they keep you in fear and doubt? Are you pursuing things that genuinely matter, or is the world's endless noise distracting you? Picture what your life could be like if you embraced the light within you. You no longer experience feelings of smallness, confinement, or vulnerability to uncontrollable forces. Every action is in alignment with your highest self. You perceive yourself not as an isolated entity, but as a component of an infinite and divine entity. If you're enjoying this eye-opening journey, exploring ideas that challenge everything you thought you knew, consider giving us a super thanks. Every contribution aids in our ongoing exploration, discovery, and inspiration. Humanity as a whole faces the same choice. Will we continue to live under the shadow of the demiurge, driven by fear and division, or will we awaken to our shared divinity and create a world built on love, understanding, and light? When enough people reconnect with their divine spark, the world itself can transform. Imagine a future where fear no longer rules, where systems of control give way to freedom, and where humanity fulfills its highest potential. This isn't the end of the story, it's only the beginning. Awakening isn't something that happens all at once. It's a process, a path you walk step by step. Along the way, you'll face challenges, doubts, and distractions. But you'll also experience moments of clarity, peace, and profound insight. Every step brings you closer to the hidden God and your true self. And as you awaken, you'll find that your light inspires others, creating a ripple effect that can change the world. They cannot take your spark of the hidden God, no matter how deep the illusions or strong the control systems. That spark is your guide, your strength, and your connection to the infinite. Examine yourself. Challenge the information you've received and embrace the light. The journey won't always be easy, but it will always be worth it. Thanks for watching. Join our community by subscribing to this channel. Until the next video.